guard back, put them back. You gotta get your guard back, get them back. I'm asking where your guard at, where's he at? We gotta get him back,
All right, everyone, that was a good discussion. Now it's time for the message. And before I bring this brother on, I gotta say some words. Now, we have a lot of scholars in our community. Some went to college, some haven't been to college. However, there's some sort of discrimination against those who have not been all the way through college. Just because you happen to drop out, you a dummy. Or you didn't go to college, you a dummy. And the ones who went to college are held on the pedestal. I hold them on the pedestal too. Me being a college dropout, yeah, I respect anyone who made it through college because we need scholars in our community with degrees and certifications and all that. But problem is, a lot of our people who go to college go in there and come out dumber than they were before. I mean, they go in there to become slaves. They go in there to become better niggas. Yes, I have to say that. And they come out traitors. But then those brothers and sisters who are in the community studying, you know, as a daily practice, as a daily way of life, not because some instructor told you to do so, they get shut down whenever they come up and say something. But this brother I'm bringing up here, he has been through school. School of hard knocks. He's been through the African Hebrew Israelites. He's been through the nation of Islam. He's been through the nation of Yahweh. And he grew up under Islamic type of setting. But now he's coming into African consciousness. He's a real heavy brother. And I just want to bring him on right now. I mean, he's eager. He wanted to jump in this conversation. He was over there just holding back. But I'm going to bring it on right now. It's my brother, Zarakia.
Peace and blessings.
Peace.
First, I ask for the Creator to bless my tongue, you know, so that it may show forth His glory, her glory, and our glory. I'm normally the kind of brother, this is the first time that I've actually tried to prepare something. I normally never ever write anything down, so it might be kind of awkward for me, and I'm going to give it my best shot because I love coming from right here. I feel like I can, jab on my feet better than I can with instructions. So, but the topic is so heavy. I pondered it, and Brother Sal, I thank him for the opportunity to, be able to address everyone. And I was told well over a month ago that this would be my time. But as I said, the topic is so profound and so heavy that I was writing it in my head for the past month or so. And it was only last night after we had the cycle of 7 that I sat down at my computer and composed the hey, it is what it is. And these are just a few of the books that I sat down after everybody left and the party was over. I pulled out just a few of these and started going into what it was that I was trying to say, or trying to get across. And I want to start by an illustration. When I was young, I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. I won't even give it that. I'll probably say either 5 or 6. We were playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire earlier, and it reminded me because one of the questions, the answer was Happy Days. And Happy Days was a movie, a sitcom, and it had a character in there named Fonz. And I didn't know he was a pedophile then, when I go back and look at the movie now and see that this guy is like 30 years old chasing, chasing middle school girls and stuff. I mean, what gives, But I thought that he was the coolest thing walking at that time, and so, the jukebox, nobody could get it to play, and and then the song would come on, and hey, you know. And so I wanted to be just like, I wanted to be like him, because I was, if nobody knew it or not, I was a nerd my whole life, you know. I thought it was because I wore glasses, but my son wears glasses, and he's like the coolest guy I know, you know. And but what happened, long story short, my mother bought me a yellow windbreaker with a collar, and I used to pop the collar, but I wanted to go one step further, because, you know, Fonz had a black jacket, and my jacket was yellow, so maybe people wouldn't, you know, because they saw the collar up, they wouldn't understand who I was. So I couldn't read, and I had my cousin write, "I'm cool, A," on the back of my jacket. Now I can't read, right? And my cousin, I come from a family of practical jokers, and even as little. So he wrote that I'm a punk. You know? And so I'm walking down the street, you know, thumbs out, hey, you know, and if everybody's looking, I just want to get the back, and you understand, you know, it'll give form to why my thumbs is out. So, you know, long story short again, not only did I get in trouble for writing on my jacket, I got another whooping for being stupid, because I let somebody tell me that I was a punk. You know, and I advertised to the whole world that I was a punk. So I say that to say, now I'm going to bring it home. I say that to say that some of us become great scholars. Some of us become great religious practitioners. Some of us become great believers in what it is that we were taught. And particularly the black conscious folks, those with any degree that have felt like they've escaped religiosity, and they grabbed hold of true black conscious spirituality, and they underestimate how great and magnificent this adversary that we're fighting is. They underestimate the level that he will go to get to maintain his oppressive thumb all over the world. You know, they underestimate when it says that the serpent deceived the whole world. Somehow or another, they think that didn't include them. You know, and so we'll pick up the Bible, and I'm an equal opportunity butt whooper, so I brought, you know, I brought more than just, it's not just about the Bible, but, and I hope that wasn't offensive. That wasn't offensive. It is what it is, so it be like it is. So we'll pick up books, and we'll find stories in the books that we can relate to. And it sounds so much like our story. And we may forget that we came here by some records in 1619 and by other records in 1555. Either way you cut it, we've been here for well over 400 years, and we've only been reading for 110 years. So we underestimate what they were doing when we weren't allowed to read. What was happening in the monasteries? What was happening on the other sides of the plantations, the schools that were being built for their intelligentsia, that they were preparing for us 300 years down the road when they would go ahead and say, go ahead and read, so that you'll open up a book and you say, the seed of Abraham would go into bondage and be a stranger in a strange land for 400 years. We've been in the strange land for 400 years. That must be us that it's talking to. But the monks with the brown capes on and the dresses and different things, they were in the monastery writing that you would be in there for 400 years after you had been in there for 400 years. So in other words, just like that little boy that I was, that thought that I was saying something else, I thought that I was being the funk, I was really being the punk. So when we think that we're being something else, oh man, we're really being the other thing. And so a lot of people, I know a lot of people do not believe in the Bible because we done got so smart and we done figured out that this is the white man's book and we don't need to mess with it. I understand that. And then I know that there's some of us that got so smart that we realize that if we just change the names, change the characters, then it's our book. But an interesting thing happened to a couple months ago, a revelation just one night, just like boom, you know, that I began to realize that, wait a minute. One, we have to begin to understand, we have to see it in its true context. If we can start seeing the Bible in its true context, we can work with it. And its true context is they are stories that may not be historical accuracy, but just like when Aesop wrote a story about a rabbit racing a turtle, that ain't never happened in history. I just want to, in case you really think, because you read it, I read it too, you know, but that never really happened. A rabbit never ran a race with a turtle, I promise. I promise that never happened. You know, and you would be crazy if it did happen to put your money on the turtle like that anyway. But the reason that our brother would say such a thing, why would you say such foolishness? You know that ain't gonna happen. How you gonna get the turtle to stay still and grab the child? You know, how's that gonna play out like that? But that's not the spirit in which was being conveyed. It was a lesson. So that 500 years from that point, you could still pick up that story, and I could tell my son, listen, don't be hasty about nothing. It's better for you to be slow and consistent about whatever you're doing, and you'll get to where you're trying to go. You can accomplish anything you want, but don't be hasty. Just pace yourself. You know, pace yourself. So that's an eternal lesson. So, but now that my son can see that story as it is, do he say, well, I must be a turtle? You know, I must be a Hebrew turtle like? You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. You know, it's just, it was a lesson to learn. So now the problem is there's some scholars that got together and they compiled some writings. And instead of using monkeys and turtles and rabbits and lions and bears and tigers, they put people's names in them. So now, because we believe and we can relate to the stories, we think that there's some historical accuracy to what it is, to the fables that we have been given. I know that's a lot to swallow. Oh man, you messing with thousands of years of indoctrination. I know that is a hard pill to swallow, but can I prove my point? Absolutely. Let's get to it. Okay. First of all, Robert, only since you're so close to me, well, I think I got two powerful readers. Okay, I'm pointing. If you could turn to page 21, I think I have it underlined. This is gonna set the. Don't take my dollar I use. It's only a bookmark. Go to my house.
Bookmark gave me a bottle of water. Okay, read the other.
Starting with the relentless.
Okay. You sure?
I thought I was sure. I was putting this together at 3 o'clock in the morning, so if I type the wrong number in, I'll just give you one of these and just roll with me. So let's say these. Unfortunately, I had planned really to give everybody a handout. I was talking earlier today, and I said, you know, we really need to develop a huddle type mentality. You know, when you plan you're watching a football game, in between the plays, they have what is called a huddle, where the team comes together and they exchange information and lay out a plan. And when they say break, they get to the plan, they execute whatever. Sometimes we get into the habit of falling into the huddle, and we lay out the information, and then we go out as if we're not in the game. You know, go sit in the bleachers and watch the game. So we need to develop a huddle mentality that will lead to some type of pro-action. Okay, but I wanted to lay this out, and I typed in the wrong page number, but the first paragraph on the top.
The relentless searchlights of history were turned on the roles played by both Islam and Christianity in the subjugation of the blacks. This confused many and outraged those who did not pause to distinguish evil men who use religion to disguise their real aims. The unthinking Muslim or Christian would likely believe that his religion is being attacked rather than those conquerors and enslavers who disgraced it in covering their drive for wealth and world dominion.
Do you hear the brother? It's not about check your emotions at the door. It's not about an attack on anybody's religion or anybody's belief system. The late great honorable Dr. John Henry Clark said that religion itself is a good concept. It keeps the people in check. It gives you some kind of moral ethics, some kind of if I was walking down a dark alleyway at 3 o'clock in the morning and a Christian brother is walking, I don't feel threatened like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's something keeping him in check morally, that I know that my person and my wallet is safe. You know, if I'm walking down the street and confronted by a group of Muslim brothers, I don't feel threatened like that. You know, unless they heard one of my poems, and you know what I'm saying? So it might be a different thing, but you know, I don't feel threatened like that, because the spiritual doctrine that they hold fast to keeps them in check morally, you know, ethically, honorably. So it's not an attack on them, but as the brother said, what did we say about there were some individuals? It's confused many, outraged, and not the evil men who use the religion to disguise their real aim. Something happened in Africa when they went into Africa. Something happened when the well-meaning Christian missionaries went into Africa and convinced us to believe as they believed. Somehow or another, we forfeited our land. We forfeited our culture, our God, our civilization, our history, our language. Somehow or another, embracing something that is so pure and holy caused us to lose so much. Something happened when the Arab invaded Africa that caused us to forfeit our language. Now we have to speak Arabic. You know, now we have to, instead of seeing Ethiopia as the Holy Land, now we have to go to Arabia and go around the Kaaba and different things. Something happened where everyone that is in Islam gets to cling fast to their culture. A Korean Muslim can still speak Korean and still dress Korean and still eat Korean and still be Korean, but the black man, when he embraces it, he forfeits it all. You had a pagan religion, you had a pagan language, you had a pagan land, you don't need none of that. Just give it up and embrace this. You know, something happened when we embraced the tenets of Judaism that it caused us to forfeit what it is that we had and embrace something that somebody else gave us. So we want to deal with what was that took place that caused you and I to have to search out and find who we are now. And everybody else in the world still knows who they are. It was more than a boat ride. It was more than a ship ride over here. You know, there was some other action in place that caused the demise of our people. Okay, I would have you do that, but this read, I got the definitions from this book right here, and as I said, I had intended to give everybody a copy of this so you could do the research for yourself. But it's here just in case you think that I, did the flim-flam and type some words that, so we brought the tools here just in case. Can you read the definition of black for me?
Okay, black, being a member of a group or race characterized by dark pigmentation, especially Negroid.
Mm-hmm.
Characterized by the absence of light or the presence of very little light.
Okay. Now that dictionary probably has 20 or 30 different definitions for black. I picked out those two so that we can lay the foundation of what I need to say. One is that when it says black, we know that it's talking about us as a people, Negroid, or the so-called Negro. Second, when it's saying black, it's a characterization by the absence of light or the presence of very little light. Okay, now we want to walk into Genesis. This is where it gets very interesting. If I haven't gotten your interest as of yet, this is where it starts to get kind of interesting. If we read Genesis 1:1, it says what?
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Okay, that's done. That's a whole activity that has started and came to its completion. What happened after that?
And the earth was without form and void.
Wait a minute.
Oh, what's up?
He created the earth already.
Yeah.
So how was it without form and void? Read 1:1 again. I'm kind of confused.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
So the earth is created.
Yes.
All right. Read 2.
And the earth was without form and void.
Wait. Wait a minute. Wait. So, you feeling me? Something is wrong unless it's talking about two different things. I maintain that the earth that was created in the beginning, that was complete. That maybe the planet is spinning around, it's done. Me and Brother Sal, we created a construction company, Sal and Z's. And we built this house. And the day after we built this house, we laid the floor. And the day after we laid the floor, we put the walls up. That's a crazy construction company. Either you built the house or you didn't build the house. Unless I'm talking about, I'm using metaphors now. I'm saying that this, I literally, in the beginning, the earth was created, done deal. Now, when we get into verse 2, it's talking about a whole different earth. How do I know that? Am I speculating? We'll see. Okay, now continue 1 and 2.
Also, 1 verse 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
All right. The deep is water, and the water is water. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the Lord moved upon the face of the waters. What's deep is, as we begin to define these, we're talking skin color now. And a lot of people never knew this because we thought that we were watching the earth being created. Can I prove this? Let's move on. Okay, 1 and 3.
And God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Okay, 1 and 4.
And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness.
All right. So, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved on the face of the earth, and God said, let there be light. What is one of the terms that the Europeans in history class call Africa? The dark continent. In the beginning, the dark continent was without form and void. darkness was on the face of the inhabitants of Africa. Okay? And the Spirit of God moved on the face of the waters. The problem is, a lot of times when we read the scriptures and we see G-O-D, we think that it's talking about the God of creation, when in actuality it's sometimes and most times it's talking about the God of this world, this society. And because they play the Folger switch on us, we don't catch it. But we're going to catch it in this day and time, because we can't pass this mess down to any more generations without chin-checking it right now. So, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. Let there be Europeans. And there was Europeans. Now, I know that this sounds far-fetched. Like, nah, they just never taught me that. I ain't learned that in Sunday school. But follow me, because it doesn't matter if we believe in this or not, but those that control the world believe in it. Those that control the world have encoded the vernacular and the text in a way that they could communicate to their people and give them their marching orders against you. And you not know it because you thought that it was just talking about Lake Erie. You thought it was just talking about the Atlantic Ocean. And as long as you think about that, you don't see the plan that is being formulated right in front of your face. For hundreds of years, you can hold this book and you can read it, and those seals are locked so tight that they just get by you. And you wonder why we still that monkey in the middle. We can't, we've been on this treadmill. We done fought the power. We done protest. We done rallied. We done burned up some cars and flipped over some buildings. We done did all of this stuff. And something has happened that still keeps us in the same predicament. Now we got a black president. Has anybody's bank account gotten any bigger since November? No? I know mine has been going in the opposite direction. I call child support like, wait, I got a black president! It doesn't seem to matter that much. So all right, so what I did, I took the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. In the back of the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance is a Hebrew and Greek glossary. So you don't have to be a Hebrew scholar, which I'm not. You don't have to be a Greek Roman scholar, which I'm not. But every word that's in the Bible has a number coding system. And anything in italics, you know to go to the Greek glossary in the back. Anything in thick, bold print, any numbers will signify for you to go to the Hebrew dictionary in the back, so you can get behind the words without having to know the language like that. And so that's what I did. Read the definition for darkness.
Okay. Koshek is the Hebrew word.
Mm-hmm.
The dark hence, darkness, misery, destruction, death, ignorance, sorrow, wickedness, darkness, night, obscurity.
Obscurity, death, ignorance, sorrow, destruction, misery. You know any people on the planet that's in that kind of situation? Okay, read 28:21.
Prime root, I think it's
Prime root just means the original root.
To be dark, as withholding light, transit to darken, be black, be make dark, darken, cause darkness, be dim,
Now this came from the scripture that said, darkness was upon the face of the deep. And then I gave you Webster's dictionary definition for darkness, and we said that it was black people, and then we said that it was what? It was characterized by the absence of light. Who would have thought that we go into the Hebrew dictionary, the Hebrew glossary, and it would give us the same definition, but we thought that it was water that they was talking about. So, I mean, if water is in misery, if water is destroyed, anybody see seen dead water lately outside of Lake Erie. Ignorance, sorrow, wickedness. You've seen wicked water lately? You know, obscure water maybe. I mean, water is water. So we're seeing now proof positive that it's talking about a people and not a body of water. So now we're going to deal with that earth thing, because we found out in the beginning the earth was created. You know, God created the heavens and the earth. And then something else happened. We found out the earth was without form and void. So give us the Hebrew definition for earth.
Eretz, to be firm, the earth at large, or partitively a land. Common country, earth, field, land, example, I think, nations. Way, plus wilderness, world.
Now what was that word underlined?
Nations.
Nations. So when it said earth, it was talking about nations of people. There was a nation of people that is void and without form. And that's, again, according to the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. Okay. Now, what I found out, and I didn't mean to bring this Bible because this Bible got black pictures in it, and some of that may offend some folks, so I could have brought the one with the white pictures, but that would have offended somebody too, but I thought I had to roll the dice. I went with the black one. In this book right here, this book was, this is the King James Version, but it was, some things happened where Brother K. and Hope Felder, he put black images in so our children can see a black Moses and a black Abraham, and I can get to know pictures. And take my word for it. Here we go. We got pictures in here, Afrocentric pictures. Okay, but he said something in the introduction of Genesis, and I typed it in here. And after the after the speech is over, you can check that out. Read what he says in the introduction of Genesis.
In the first chapter, second verse of Genesis, it is written that the earth was formless and void. Darkness was on the face of the deep. Here, one must notice that there is no negative connotation with the idea of darkness. Indeed, the Spirit of God was intimately associated with it. In verse 3, light is mentioned for the first time in the Bible, and as such, it is a distinct sign of divine creativity. Verses 4a assigns a positive and favorable to the combined reality of light and darkness. They are both one and good. It is only in verse 4b that light is separated from darkness, yet both still sustain an equally positive function in the beginning of creation. This point is fundamental to the purpose of the original African Heritage Study Bible, which seeks to correct the traditional Eurocentric bias that associates darkness with evil, chaos, and negative stereotypes.
Now, why is he caught up in the color of water? Why is it an issue? Unless he saw the same thing that I'm seeing, and what I'm trying to get us all to see, that it ain't water. It wasn't water. This is the turtle in the hare. It's something that didn't happen literally, but you are to learn something from it. There's some instructions being given. There's a foundation being set up. And only those privy to this knowledge would get it and be able to move accordingly. Okay. And of course, that was from the original African Heritage edition of the Holy Bible, King James Version, page 2. Now let's read another definition for black.
Okay. Black, outrageously wicked, deserving unmitigated condemnation. A black deed, a black heart, a black villain, a moralist to whom everything is either black or white, sometimes dishonorable, discreditable, expressing or indicating disgrace, dishonor, discredit, or guilt, sometimes through the symbolic use of an object that is black in color, a black mark for tardiness, with evidence so black against him, connected with some baneful aspect of the supernatural, especially the devil, a black curse, black magic, the black art.
All right. So this is that darkness. that it was on the face of the deep. It's speaking in dualism. Not only was Africa called the dark continent because of the pigmentation of its inhabitants, but if you ask your history teacher why you call it the dark continent, they say because there was no light coming from it. That was during the Renaissance period, where all of the intellect, all of the knowledge was coming from Greece and Rome and Europe. So Africa twofold was considered by their standards as the dark continent. So this, when it says the darkness was on the face of was upon the face of the deep, these people were black people, and we're going to rob them of all of their intellectual properties, so that when someone starts speaking about Kemet, someone starts speaking about the great so-called pyramids of so-called Egypt, if somebody starts teaching about the empires of Songhai and Mali and Ghana and Timbuktu, that we're going to snatch that knowledge and call it our own. We're going to convince everybody somehow or another that Egypt is part of the Middle East and the Middle East is part of Europe. We're going to take everything. See, the plan, you hear it now, the plan is in the gym. They're laying it out. They're telling you what they're going to do, what's going to become of your nation, what's going to become of your culture, your civilization, your God, and your God knowledge, and your knowledge of self. All of that in these little verses that we just skim past because we just think it's talking about the earth being created, but then we see that, hey, that job was already done in verse 1. All right. So just in case I might be wrong, and I might be tripping on this water thing, let's read with Harper. Did I bring Harper? Nah, I ain't bringing that white nigga. I mean, that guy. Okay. I have the Harper's Bible Dictionary. Let's read what Harper says, because somehow or another this stuff didn't end up on our desks. It didn't end up in our libraries.
Okay. Water as a symbol.
As a symbol. Don't take it as a literal water. He's saying water as a symbol. I skipped past the literal water because I know what H2O is. I know how to swim in it. I know how to drink it. I know how to drown in it. I know how to bathe. I know how to shower. I know all of that stuff about H2O. You don't have to educate me anymore about water. But as a symbol, I ain't know this right here. What did we miss? Show them what we missed.
According to ancient Egyptian and Mesopotamian thought, water was a primary cosmic element from which all life emerged. The OT reflects something of this view. The Old Testament reflects something of this view when it speaks of the deep. Have Tehom as the primeval ocean divided at creation into upper and lower waters.
Wait. That's heavy. That's heavy. We gotta slow down. Sometimes we might read so fast, but we won't even get it. Let's start one more time, because it's saying, according to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, two black institutions, according to their thought, what was water?
The primary cosmic element from which all life emerged.
Primary cosmic element from which all life emerged. Is there a continent on the planet from which all life emerged? Anybody show of hand? Who wants to be a millionaire? What continent?
No.
Huh?
I want to be a millionaire.
Answer the question. Anybody? Any other millionaires?
He said,
What continent?
He said, Africa.
Africa. All right. So let's go forward.
Okay. The waters above the firmament are the source of rain, while the waters below form seas, lakes, and underground streams. Babylonian religion deified the power and the sweet and salt water sources. The subterranean sweet water identified with wisdom, fertility, and life, while the restless, raging seas represented chaotic and destructive power. Creation.
So remember, darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved on the face of the waters. There are two different things. The face of the deep was these black people. The Spirit of God, or the God of this world, not the God of creation, moved on the face of the Europeans, who was what? I misspelled chaotic, didn't I?
Yeah.
I told you it was 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I put all this together yesterday. The second one represented chaotic
And destructive
and
power.
destructive power. Is there a chaotic and destructive power on this planet that will destroy anything that gets in its way and tries its best to stay out of its way? Is there such a power?
Yes, sir.
Is there such a people that are born to annihilate, rape, pillage, and destroy anything that comes in its path?
Teach me.
Huh?
Teach me.
But wait a minute. I thought we was talking about water. I thought we was talking about water. You can blame Katrina if you want to. You can blame the tsunami if you want to. Let's go on. Creation.
Creation of Mesopotamian and Canaanite myth involved the subduing or slaying of the waters of chaos, often personified as a serpent.
This is where it gets heavy. Because what's going to happen is you're about to find out that every time you looked in the Bible and it talked about the serpent and the devil, it was talking about you. You want to know why every time you looked in the old pictures, the devil was personified as a black being? Because that's what they was talking about. You want to know why when you look in the dictionary and you see all of these horrible definitions for the word black, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The definition came before they gave you that title. Because remember, when you came here, you was nigger. And then when you evolved, you grew up and became a Negro. And then you became colored. Can I prove it? Is there still a group around called colored people? The National Advancement for the Association of Colored People. So are we still colored? Are we still Negro? Do we still have a Negro college fund? Huh? We still got all of these different things going on. So I'm saying that, well, I'm not saying it. We're getting ready to see that they saying that they've been calling us the devil all of this time. And see, if we chuck this to the side, then we miss their marching orders. And so we become ill-equipped for the battle that we have to engage in order to preserve our progeny and our future. Man, if I found out that I had to fight Mike Tyson next week, I will spend the next 7 days watching every tape that he had. I will watch every move. I will carefully consider all of his strengths so that I can stay away from him. And then try to find out all of his weaknesses so I could get him on that. If he got poor eyesight in the left, I'm coming from the left. You know, if his right is not strong as his left, which is probably impossible, but if there's a chance, I'm going to stay on that right side, you know, and avoid the left. Outside of that, I would be a stupid opponent. And we've been stupid opponents in the war for our own souls, in the war for our own salvation and our own redemption. We've been unworthy opponents up to this point because we didn't know who we was fighting. We was in a fight, like Chuck D said, in a game of fool without the rules. We was in the game and did not understand. We didn't know the score. We in the fourth quarter, and somebody told us that we even, just keep that pace, and we was down by 43 points. Or me and B was talking about that on the radio a couple weeks ago. They think that it's even Steven because we got one black president and they didn't have 43. If you in a game, if you in a game and the score is 1-43, you in trouble.
Tell them. Tell them.
Okay, let's keep going.
Elements of this mythic conception persist in poetic images of the Old Testament, apocalyptic visions, and religious symbolism. God slew the dragon, Rahab, or Leviathan. Isaiah 51.
You don't have to get it. I'm going to make these notes available. Anybody that comes to the Cycle of 7 next Friday, or just request it through Brother Sal or whatever, we'll have all of these notes available. Because, we're not preaching. We're teaching. And there's a fundamental difference. There's a time for preaching. I'm not clowning that. There's a time to inspire. Every army has a drummer up front that keeps that adrenaline moving, so that the soldiers who are already well trained can go into battle with great courage. There's a time for preaching, but there's a time before that when they have the boot camp. And they have to learn how to shoot. They have to learn how to run and how to get their wind so that when they get on the field, then you can let the drummer do his thing so that you can use what we taught you over here to go ahead and annihilate your opponent. This is that time. Okay.
The ancient serpent identified with Satan in Revelations founded the earth upon and sits enthroned over the flood. God's voice thunders over many waters, sometimes identified as many people.
What?
God's voice thunders over many waters, sometimes identified as many people.
No, many lakes, many streams. What did it say?
Many people.
Many people.
Yeah.
So that means I wasn't tripping all of this time when I was saying that it was people.
Nah.
I wasn't tripping.
Nah.
Hallelujah. Tell you, shade of death. Okay. Okay, finish that.
Or hostile nations. The power of the sea is reasserted in apocalyptic writings, but in the final day the beast from the sea will be vanquished and the sea itself will be no more.
Like these stories. Okay, now we're going to get into, we had already defined it, the spirit is just so in harmony. Sometimes I'm amazed at the connection me and the brother has, man. It just amazes me, but the spirit is so in harmony. I went ahead and defined devil too, so read it off just in case those weren't there when we read before.
The English translation of a Greek word, diabolos, meaning accuser or slanderer, using the Subjugation to translate the Hebrew Satan, and in the New Testament as a virtual synonym for the term. In the King James Version, it is also regularly employed as a translation of another Greek word, daemon, which, however, in the RSV,
yeah, I think that's the revised standard version,
is transliterated as demon. The idea that Satan was an angel put out of heaven because of his rebellion against God and his desire to assume the prerogatives of divinity seems to be reflected in Luke 10 verse 18. Jesus' ability to expel the demons who were Satan's minions was understood to be the result of his having conquered and bound Satan.
Okay. All right. So from devil we went to Satan, and first devil coming from Diablos. Whenever you see like George Bush going like this, or any punk rock stars going like this with their hand, either like this or like that, that's Diablos, the sign of Diablos, or the devil. And so from Diablos we ended up ultimately with demon. So let's find out what demon is. What did Harper say the demon was?
Okay, demon. The English transliteration of a Greek term, daemon, originally referring to any one of numerous vaguely defined spirit beings, either good or bad.
Either what?
Good or bad.
Either good or bad. They were defined as a demon. We're talking about a group of people, whether they good or bad. They don't conform to our agenda, our objective. Therefore, they are the devil only means opposer. That one that is in opposition. So you can be as holy as you want. But if the society mandates the raping of little boys and girls and you stand against that, by definition, you are devil. By definition. Okay.
In the New Testament, they are understood as evil spirits, opposed to God and God's people.
Mm-hmm.
And a word that appears in the Revised Standard Version only as the translation of a different Greek term meaning accuser or slander. Diabolos. It is used as a virtual synonym for Satan. In the ancient world, there was widespread belief in spiritual powers or beings that existed in addition to the well-known gods and goddesses. These beings were not understood as necessarily evil, though some might be. The idea that many or even all such beings were allied with the forces of darkness and wickedness only came into focus probably under the influence of Persian thought during the intertestamental period of Judaism.
So now here come the Jews. See, this wasn't just about beating on Christianity. Now we're saying that the concept of what we term as devil. Well, now it's Harper is saying that, oh man, this thought originated, like the brother said earlier, we didn't really have no working definition for the devil like that. That wasn't our bag. That wasn't our thing. But there's another group of people that came along and gave some form to that. And when they gave form to it, they had you in mind. Okay. How are we doing on time? Okay. We're going to see what Webster's has to say about devil.
Sometimes
Which means sometimes capitalized.
Oh, okay. The personal supreme spirit of evil and unrighteousness in Jewish and Christian theology. A wretched fellow, a person in a pitiable or markedly inferior position or condition.
I ain't wilding out because I tell you, my printer did not print some of the things that I typed, and the sister's printer didn't print some of the other things that I didn't type, but I'm glad we got them both somehow. It's still coming together. All right. Now we want to do something interesting. We was in the Bible. Now we want to go in the Quran. I spent just a little historical sketch of myself. When my mother and father divorced when I was about 2 years old, my father joined the Nation of Islam. My mother stayed in the church. I bounced from world to world, so I got kind of like a grounding in both. And during the month of Ramadan, for the Muslims, you have to read the 30th of the book every day, so that after the 30-day cycle, you will have read the book. And I stayed with my father for 10 years, so you can add it up as to how many times I read the book. So, in the Quran, that's on there. Okay, surah or chapter, and in Arabic it's called a surah, in English it's called a chapter. There's a chapter 2 called Al-Baqarah, or the cow, and in verse 30, what does it say?
Behold, the Lord said to the angels, I will create a vicegerent on earth. They said, wilt thou place therein one who will make mischief therein and shed blood? Whilst we do celebrate thy praise and glorify thy holy name. He said, I know what ye know not.
Okay, so God is saying that I'm getting ready to create a group of people. I'm getting ready to create a species. And the angels, the folk that was already there, said, are you going to create somebody that's going to cause bloodshed? What else he said? He said, or shed mischief and bloodshed on the earth. And he said, I know what you know not. Okay, so maybe there ain't nobody on the earth that caused mischief and bloodshed. All right, what's 34?
And behold, we said to the angels, bow down to Adam. and they bowed down. Not so Iblis.
Okay, Iblis is Arabic for the devil, or for Satan, for you. And we're gonna show you, because all of this time, you daggone scholars thought that you was Adam, but nah, you wasn't. You were the devil. And so I'm not saying you the devil for according to Zerakia. I love you. You my people. Whatever you are, I'm that too. I'm just saying the people that don't like you, the people that have been hanging you, killing you, cooking you on sticks like hot dogs, raping you, pillaging you, destroying you, kidnapping you from your land and making you pick cotton from can sea to can sea. I'm just saying that they called you the devil. That's all. Okay.
He refused and was haughty. He was of those who reject faith.
Okay. We thought that the devil was the original go-down, right? The evil started with him. But it's saying here that he was of those who rejected. That means that there was some other folk that wasn't feeling that either. That we see that this person is going to cause mischief and bloodshed on the earth. Why would I succumb? Why would I bow down to him? Okay, so we got to skip to chapter 7, verse 11, and it says what?
It is we who created you and gave you shape. Then we bade the angels bow down to Adam. And they bowed down. Not so Iblis. He refused to be of those who bowed down.
Okay. So that means that he saw it. Whoever this Satan character was, he saw it and he wasn't with it. And as a result, he was kicked out of heaven. And in the Bible and the Quran, see, both of them validate each other. It's so funny. This whole religion piece, we watching people hate each other, destroy each other, kill each other over belief systems. And every story that's in here is in here too. It's just in a different language. Yeah, I can prove it. Okay. So, what did you? Okay. All right. The next page. Oh, no, go ahead. Keep reading. I'm sorry.
Okay. Allah said, what prevented thee from bowing down when I commanded thee? He said, I am better than thee.
He said what?
I am better than thee.
He's more righteous. I'm more ethical. I'm more moral. I have more integrity. Everything. I'm better than it. Okay.
Thou didst create me from fire and him from clay.
That's a whole nother piece. We dealing with water now. I can't mess with fire right now, but a couple months from now I'll be back. Okay.
Go on. Allah said, get thee down from this. It is not for thee to be arrogant here. Get out, for thou art of the meanest of creatures.
Get out of Africa. We get ready to kidnap you. We get ready to send you out of here. The Allah of this world, the God of this world, get thee down from here. Get out of here. Okay. I know you run out there. Now he said that he would make him he said that thou art the meanest of creatures, right? According to dictionary.com, I got lazy. I didn't want to type the meanings in anymore, so I started cutting and pasting from the internet. So look up mean. You see it?
Okay, mean. Offensive, selfish, or unaccommodating. Nasty, malicious, a mean remark. He gets mean when he doesn't get his way. Small-minded or ignoble. Mean motives. Penurious, stingy, or miserly. Miserly. A person who is mean about money. Inferior in grade, quality, or character.
Inferior. I will make you the most inferior of all the creatures. You'll be subject to the Europeans. You will have neighborhoods, and the Chinese will come in and make $25,000 a week in Grove Hall, and you can't do that yourself as conscious as you think you are. I will make you inferior in quality and grave to all the creatures of the earth. What else?
No mean reward. Low in status, rank, or dignity.
Low in status, low in rank, low in dignity.
Mean servitors.
Mm-hmm.
Of little importance or consequence.
Of little importance or consequence. I can lock 1 million of your children up, and it don't matter. Society will still go on. It don't matter. You are nondescript. You're of little consequence. Now, this can't be talking about the devil. I mean, it's not the big bad devil that we've been taught about. I mean, when has he been of little consequence? He scared me at night. I used to watch the horror movies and different things. He scared me. He got everybody, you know, scared of going to hell and having to deal with this guy. He's very significant. Somebody say he's the exact opposite of God. That's kind of powerful. You know? Okay. What else?
Mean little details, unimposing or shabby, a mean abode.
Mm-hmm.
Small, humiliated, or ashamed. You should feel mean for being so stingy. Informal, in poor physical condition. Troublesome or vicious.
In poor physical condition. I would add some more if I could. I would say in poor spiritual condition, in poor economic condition, in poor political condition. You thought that it was your vote that got Obama in, but they called him the 44th president while the votes were still coming in. It wasn't your vote that made that happen. You know, so you in poor political position, poor educational position. I'm fighting right now. My son got books in his classroom dated from 1989. Wasn't even born. I don't even think I thought of him. I might have thought of him, but you know. but this is the education. It's not like that in Newton and Watertown. They don't have books going back to 1989 unless they're in the library. You know. Okay, what else we got?
Troublesome, vicious, bad-tempered, demeanor, or slang. Slang. Skillful or impressive. He blows a mean trumpet.
Oh, we ain't talking about that. Well, you do that too. You're going to go to hell and you're going to be the best saxophone trumpet player. You're going to be John Coltrane and Louis Satchmo. Okay, what else?
That's it.
Okay, yeah, let's go. What we going into?
Genesis 3:13.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord God said unto the woman,
Check this out.
what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
The devil lied to me. He made me eat something. Eat by definition means to accept without question. Go ahead.
3:14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Thus shalt thou eat. Wretched knowledge. I mean, stuff that don't mean nothing. You're gonna learn that the Wright brothers invented flight. They stopped saying they invented the airplane. They started telling you they invented flight. Birds have been flying for a billion years, but the Wright brothers invented flight. You're going to eat from the dust. You're going to accept without question. Somebody's going to tell you that a pale man can walk the burning sand for his entire lifespan without getting a tan, and you're going to believe it. You are going to believe somehow that Egypt is no longer in Africa. You were going to believe that you were Negro, that you were colored, you're a coon, you're a porch monkey, you're a jigaboo. You're going to believe that you were African American. You're really going to believe that you're any kind of American. Okay, what else? Now,
and I will put enmity between thee and thy woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Ain't going to be no peace.
It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Okay, we wrapping it up now, but here's the interesting thing, because there's another tortoise and a hare story, and it's called the Book of Job in chapter 30. Is that where we at?
Yeah, 30 verse.
Yeah, and this this is the rest of it. We wrapping it up. I'm probably not even going to get into all of it. Take you play as well. Go ahead and start reading, Joe.
Okay. But now that they that are younger than I
There's
have
somebody that has come on the planet after us. They're younger than me. What about them?
have me in derision,
They got me at a loss.
whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Their fathers are not even worthy to be with my dogs. Uh-huh.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was time desolate and was perished.
Mm-hmm.
Time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper root for their meat.
Yeah, they was in Europe. They was eating roots and mallows. Uh-huh.
They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief.
Mm-hmm.
To dwell in the cliffs and the valleys, in the caves of the earth.
And what of the earth?
In the caves of the earth.
Okay.
And in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed. Under the needles they were gathered together. Nettles.
Mm-hmm.
And now am I their song.
I'm their song.
I am their byword.
I'm their byword. You know what a byword is? That's a nickname. That's like nigger and coon and porch monkey and jig and all of those funny things that they've been calling us. I'm their byword. I would not have disdained their fathers to sit with my dogs. They were in the caves and cliffside. But now I'm their byword. They can spare to call me names. What else?
They abhor me.
Mm-hmm. They hate me.
They flee far from me.
Mm-hmm. Why when a black moves in, Jack moves out?
Mm-hmm. Like.
Yep.
And spare not to spit in my face.
They do what?
Spare not to spit in my face.
Flashback to the 60s.
Bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth.
Okay, for the sake of time, we're going to wrap that up. Just jump down to verse 30. It might be on the next page. Just in case you're not clear of what this symbolism of who Job is.
They are. Verse 30, 21?
Yeah, 30, 30, I think.
Oh, 30, 30? Okay. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat.
Enough said. Enough said. Well, because we started our show and the darkness was upon the face of the deep. Then we showed how the deep somehow became the devil. And we come all the way back to Job and his skin is still black upon him. And with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you for your undivided time. And it's been my divine pleasure to come forth with you. If you are, I pray that the message is received in the spirit that it was intended. If it offended, I humbly apologize. But, sometimes, we used to play jacks, or my sister used to play jacks when we were little, and they rubbed their hand across that raw wooden floor and get the splinter. And it was, and it hurt more when my mother came with the tweezers to pull the splinter out than it did when it went in. So sometimes as we begin to extract the deception and the falsities, and that has kept us from really coming together as a cohesive nation. Sometimes when we extract the European influence from our spiritual institutions, it hurts a little bit. So, and then when we pour the peroxide, the alcohol, mercurochrome, tussin, or whatever we put on it, sometimes that job hurts too, but it's necessary, So with that being said, I thank you for your time.